Hey, welcome back to the Astrology of Things. I'm your host and certified astrologer, Sheena, and today is July 28th, 2024, and it's 3:20 p.m. So I wanted to continue with this Sun Through the Houses in Synastry series that I've been doing. And so today I wanted to focus on the Sun in the 10th house. So before I get into my interpretation, just always keep in mind that synastry or relationship astrology is another level to astrology, and it adds way more complexity into astrology. And to really understand and be able to get really specific in understanding synastry between two individuals, you first have to understand the underlying foundations between each individual separately before you can, analyze them as, a partnership. So, and when I say understanding that underlying foundation, that means taking a look at each individual person's natal chart and understanding their planetary placements, the aspects that the planets are making with one another, and as well as understanding the dignity of those planets. And so getting a grasp on that first will then help you better understand the synastry. So today is just a general analysis of Sun in the 10th house synastry. I also wanted to note that synastry is not only applicable to romantic relationships. This applies to any type of relationship, whether that is a romantic, platonic, familial, a friendship, or business relationship. All right, so let's get into this. First, I wanted to talk about the Sun and what it means first, its significations in astrology. So the Sun signifies our creative expression, our actions, our will. It represents what we put our attention and focus toward. And, also represents things that are visible, things that are prestigious and have honor, represents presentations and performances, and it also signifies things that we're most prideful and loyal to in our lives. And the 10th house is an angular house. So this is the house that sits atop the natal chart, and it signifies the public domain, an area of our life. So this is the most visible part of our chart, and it represents our public image and public reputation. It's represents our legacy, our social status, and social rank, and can sometimes even represent our career and vocation. And I say sometimes because in my particular practice, I associate career with more so the midheaven, and in the chart types that I study astrology with, I use equal houses. So the MC is floating. So the MC can float from, the 9th house. It could be in the 10th house or the 11th house. And I'm even seeing rare cases where it's in the 8th house. So that's why I say sometimes the 10th house can represent career and vocation. All right. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen a Synastry chart or a chart overlay. So this is two people's charts overlaid one another. And so when I say when someone's sun comes into another person's 10th house, I'm referring to, this is the symbol of the sun, and it's coming into this 10th house sector. So the inner circle here, the sun's coming into their 10th house. But individually, these people have their own individual charts. This person has a Virgo rising, this other person B. This is the outer circle person. Their sun's actually over here in the 7th house. So, that even plays a significant role into, when they join forces together and when the sun acts out in that 10th house. It's bringing along its 7th house energy. But again, that's all in the details and the understanding the foundation of the individuals that I was mentioning earlier. All right. So in this dynamic, the sun person is the primary actor and initiator or activator of events and activity in this person's 10th house. So the sun person can essentially be seen as the cause, right? And the cause of what activity is happening in this person's 10th house here. So the sun person, their individual and creative expression, their actions, their focus and attention is being aligned with and will place emphasis on the 10th house person's public image, their reputation, social status, and possibly their career or vocation. And the sun's going to have a big impact on this 10th house person because the 10th house is an angular house. And so anytime a planet transits this angular house, by transit or through synastry, like we're looking at here, or through, someone's progressed chart, it's going to have a big emphasis. Angular houses are considered the 10th, 1st, 4th, and 7th house. So yeah, when these planets come into these angular houses, they just have more potency. It's kind of like a magnetic pole that's kind of, I want to say, describe it as vibrating, making these planets vibrate more. So yeah. So the sun person's going to add creativity and fun into this house, into this person's 10th house. So in a way, the sun person could make working toward achievements look a lot more fun. And the sun person's actions can really assist the 10th house person in climbing that social ladder at work or within the public domain, kind of like, climbing the social ladder. Or the sun person could even just serve as a guiding light, a role model, a mentor, or even a protege for that 10th house person as far as it relates to career, or as far as maybe how the 10th person presents themselves in public. So the sun person's gonna really be that role model for the house person. So the sun person could also be one to place that 10th house person on the public stage, or even shed light on the 10th house person's legacy, or they can bring them more popularity in one way or another. So for example, the sun person could be the one who's giving this 10th house person award, or recognizing them for an achievement that they've made. And at the same time, the house person, the 10th house person, the person in the inner circle here, they'll be publicly known to be associated with this person or this person's actions in some way or another. So for example, maybe when the 10th person is out in public, people might always see the 10th house person with the sun person. Or it could even play out in the digital world on social media. So let's say the 10th house person is always being pictured with the sun person. Or maybe the sun person is always commenting and interacting with the 10th house person's social media post, or the sun person is always sharing the 10th house person's social media posts. Or let's say another example, maybe these two individuals are in the same acting class, and the 10th house person is always being seen, the 10th house person is always being seen with the sun person, as maybe they're just co-stars in various plays that they're a part of. Or another example could be, let's say that some person is an artist and they like doing portraits, painting portraits or drawing portraits of people. And so let's say they want to draw a portrait of this 10th house person. And so, they draw this picture of the 10th house person, and the sun person decides to post the artwork on their own social media page. And so they're, publicizing your own image and artwork on that public stage. So again, that sun person is bringing attention and focus to the 10th house person's most public part of their life, I should say. So the sun person is bringing attention and focus to their legacy or their accomplishments, or the sun person is honoring them with an award or certificate or a trophy or some other form of token that recognizes the 10th house person's accomplishments. But in general, the sun person is going to be the person who is highlighting and spotlighting and bringing that attention to what is already present in that 10th house, in that person's 10th house. So this could be good or bad. Like if someone's natal 10th house, has a lot of bad energy, and I don't really like using the term bad when it comes to astrology. But let's say this person's natal 10th house has a lot of challenging aspects and planets in it. The sun person is going to come in and shed more light on that area and probably activate it a lot more. So again, it really just depends on that underlying foundation that each individual has separately before they come together. All right. So yeah, that's my general interpretation of this synastry between two individuals. So I hope that helped give you some insight, and I'll see you in the next one.